Good morning from Bali. Hi, Blue. Raja Yogini, hello, darling. Well, I wanted to come on here and share. Serafina, how are you, honey? See you in a bit. I wanted to come on here and share about this kind of beautiful cosmic event of alignment that's happening simultaneously 3 days after the new moon in Libra. And it is the stellium that's happening. So the stellium is happening on October 9th, and it is between the Sun, Mars, and Mercury in retrograde. So it's quite an interesting turn of events. And all of these three signs are at 16 degrees. And it's quite incredible. And simultaneously, I do want to kind of point this out, that on the new moon exact, both the stellium, all three of these planets are also going to be at 13 degrees. So I've shared a little bit about what 13 represents and kind of this new paradigm of observing 13. You can find it in my stories on here on IGTV. So when we look at October 6th, this is, when the new moon is happening in Libra, and October 9th, this is when the stellium hits at that 16 degrees. These are two numbers of love. So when we look at, in numerology, when we look at 6 is that human kind of love. When we think of love, right? That maternal, parental kind of love. It is that nurturing love, that natural love that kind of comes into play. And it's also about responsibility. So in numerology, 6 is about responsibility. It is about abundance. It is about kind of like the business in the home, right? Because Libra also rules the 7th house. So it kind of, there's no coincidence there. And yeah, it's about kind of matters of the home in general. And when we look at the 9th, so October 9th, this is when, again, the stellium kind of goes into that 16 degrees where all three planets are at 16 degrees. The 9th is the number of unconditional love. So it's that kind of, I love you no matter what kind of love. It is wise. It is the wise with leadership. It is a culmination, right? Because 9 is an ending number in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it is an ending point of that divine intelligence that culminates from that starting point from 1 to 10. So it's that culmination of that divine intelligence that leads us back into new beginnings, right? So new moons are all about new beginnings, and of course 3 days after this new moon there's the stellium. So we always recognize in Kundalini Yoga the 4th day of the moon. So coincidentally it falls on the 3rd day of the moon, but still same, you're still riding that wave of this kind of new beginning energy, which is so important to recognize and to take action during this beautiful period. So the love is both human and it is galactic, and it is coming together on during this week, and it is beautiful. Now I wanted to share a little bit about what the 16 represents, because 16 is the degrees that the stellium is in, and it's all about sudden intuitive insights. So sudden intuitive insights, like insights or impulsive inspirations that are coming out of the unknown or out of nowhere, or that inclination to act on something. And I mean, without these insights, you will find yourself a little bit of a loss, because you are not referring back consistently to your heart center. And I hope that makes sense to some of you. I think we kind of talk in this similar language here. So this aspect is kind of reminding us to always refer to your heart center, to always go back to the heart. This is what the stellium is asking us, right? There's no more, we can't Google what the next step is anymore, right? As much as history looks like it's on repeat, there's no outsourcing for what we need to do. It's all about this inner insourcing to discern what the next move is. And again, your mind is only interpreting the human experience, but it doesn't get the answers, right? This is the confusion. It's only interpreting your experience based on past, right? And the answers in the mind, because they're based on the past, they are projecting onto the future, right? So there's this kind of living in fear, but we're not. We can't. We just don't have time for it. It's too boring. We know what the ending looks like, right? It's time to like experience a new ending, or, you know, write out a new ending, which sounds more exciting to me. Anyways, so the mind is meant to navigate the human experience in all the ways that it is practical, all the ways that are practical, right? It's not meant to interpret life events and give meaning to things, period. So this is where the heart comes in. This is where you inner in-source. You go back to your inner resources, right? And that's what this 16 message is all about. That's what this this numerology in the 16 carries forward, is, you know, to look at the inner insights, right? These, you know, unforeseen messages. So, and then of course we have Mercury in retrograde, and the understanding of this Mercury in retrograde. I spoke a little bit about it earlier last week. I didn't save it in my stories just because it wouldn't let me save. I think I used some kind of flag words. I don't know what they are quite yet. But with Mercury in retrograde, the understanding of what we are experiencing is internalized, right? So again, internalizing inner resources. So, and it's such a beautiful time to awaken that inner harmony and balancing both the masculine and the feminine within us. And I'll get more into that and onto why. So Mercury retro in Libra, which is an air sign, right? And Mercury it rules Gemini, and it rules, you know, Virgo, an earth sign, of course. And Gemini is another air sign. So this is kind of an airy planet. It's moving fast. It thinks on its feet. Mercury is fun. It's a good time. You know, a Gemini, they're always like looking for the next good adventure, fun time, right? So the search for fun goes internal when it's in retrograde. Okay, so the search for fun goes internal when it's in retrograde, and it's a good time to ask, you know, where am I lacking joy? Simple. Where am I lacking joy? Where am I lacking love in my life? Like, you know, that good kind of love, that fun love. Where do I need to listen? You know, what do I need to listen to? So Mercury in retrograde likes to listen, versus when it's direct, it just kind of just goes for it, right? It goes for it and communicates sometimes without listening, which is where you kind of have to guard against, right? So now going back to the stellium, Mars and the sun. So I'm going to talk about both of these planets. So the sun is our star. It's our baseline. So it brings us, you know, it's what gives us light. It's what brings us life, right? It holds the frequency of our solar system, and the light, it holds the light. And, you know, without the sun, there would be no life. Period. The end. We can all agree on that. Yes, because it's the truth. So the sun holds the frequency that we are living on this solar system. And Mars holds the energy of passion. It holds the energy of drive. It holds the energy, passion, and brings life to it. Does that make sense? So it's kind of, you know, of course we know the polarity of what Mars represents, but in this context, I want to kind of use the frequency that gives us more energy. So Mars holds the energy of passion. It is the sacred masculine energy, right? So when Mercury is in retrograde, because it interprets that internal connection that we have to source, right? That we have to that bigger version of ourselves, the more expansive version of ourselves. It interprets, you know, that heart-centered space and communicates it. Right? So when things are shutting down around you, it's because all that information is not coming from a heart-centered space, right? If you can't get your message across, it's because it's asking you to pause and listen and commune from that heart-centered space. That's the message. That's the underlying undertone. So this disconnection happens quite often when we rely on the external to bring value or answers to our lives. When we kind of are outsourcing, you know, looking at media, and, you know, we're slowly coming out of that hangover from the Piscean time, which I love that phrase, and that is a Guru Jagat phrase, and it's so true. You know, we're just kind of peeking out, we're slowly, you know, getting our bearings back. and again, that external just makes the messages about where we are at, so that we can recalibrate and course correct and walk towards the frequency that we want to have. That's what it's about. It's kind of that remembering about that, about the why we're here, So to resonate with peace, love, and joy, abundance, it is through the heart. It has to be through the heart center, right? We cannot think we can think our way into manifesting love. It's just not possible, It's just not. It doesn't happen through thought. It only happens through the heart, period. And it's proven time and time again, right? So when we go into the heart, we move beyond the pain that the mind is relating to. So this is kind of like an example, right? So the mind is only connected to the past, and it regulates its story, and those stories inform your decision-making process, and it is literally not inspired living. It's not inspired. It's not in the moment. It's not in spirit, inspired in spirit. Okay, so the pain that is felt by not being connected to the heart arises through the perception that you have about that situation, whatever it is, however you relate to it. Okay, so this Mercury retro stellium, right? The stellium with this Mercury retrograde, the Sun and the Mars being in Libra, which is the sign of balance and bringing harmony. This perception is now changing, right? And this is the whole point of 2021, right? It is change, it's truth. It's the truth will set you free year. In the truth will set you free century. This is what 21 represents in numerology, of course. So anyways, so when you move from the mind into the heart-centered space of connection, then you actually don't feel the pain. Then you actually don't feel any more pain, because you're giving yourself permission to authentically feel what is there. You're in the be here now moment. I know it sounds like a cliche, and it's like, but that's really what it is, and it feels good. You feel good. You want to stay there, So you're not, you're feeling in the moment. You're not, feeling the past. You're not feeling a memory. It's just not. It's not what that is, So don't feel the past. Don't feel the moment. Sorry, don't feel the past. Don't feel the memory, but feel the moment. Feel the moment. Feel that which is here, which is real, right? So, and Mars, of course, like I mentioned before, we're looking at the aspects of Mars that gives us more energy. Mars is coming to help you with that passionate connection, with a real sense of being alive and getting directions from your feelings, right? Mars likes to move towards something, and it moves from instinct, right? From inspired action. So that's what Mars is going to do, is just put you in that flow of inspiration, if you can just settle and listen. Right? And again, Mercury retrograde is reaching within. The Sun is lighting up everything so that you can see the truth, letting go of the attachment to, the outcome of things, right? Instead, you just want to think about inviting the frequency, inviting the frequency in that you are looking for to feel, right? That you're looking for. So inviting it in every form, however it looks like for you, right? In every form, stimulating all the five senses, like just bringing it in that way of like cold-heartedly, right? And if you're searching for something, then feel the frequency out, right? And if you're looking for change in your life, then put that frequency in your heart of what it looks like for you. Right? And it's not, outlining a vision board. You're not like trying to meticulously form something to, domino effect the experience that you want to have, because that is very egoic. It's very, driven by the will, it's egoic will. And we can talk more on specifics about that at a later point. If you guys want, you can DM me and clear on that, because I used to use vision boards because it's what I was taught, is what corporate structures teach you, right? Not to downplay corporate structures, they're fucking brilliant, but you have to infiltrate the system a little bit. But anyways, I digress. So you want to focus on the frequency. That's what we're at now. The vision is great, but now we want to focus on the frequency so that the actions are inspired through that frequency, and that is the shift. right? So letting go of, my egoic wants and experiences, and it needs to be in this way, and looking more for, what I want to experience and feel, right? Feel this vibration of joy, love, abundance, peace, insert whatever is it that you want to experience, like whatever you want to do. So these are just, frequencies, and we live on a vibrational planet. You can't deny that. It's quantum physics. It's been proven. It's science. Like, the information's out there. You got to accept it now. It's time to accept it. And the universe, again, will come around when you tune into your frequency. You attract the frequency. You live in the trust in the unknowing. You live in trust of the unknown. It's pretty remarkable how it shifts your ability to just trust, right? And trust goes back to love. Love and trust are basically riding the same timeline. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same piece of the same pie. It's quite interesting how we divide it. But anyways, so put your energy where it needs to go. This is what this stellium is about. Freedom, wisdom, then show up vibrationally with that frequency, because that's just as important as, the things that you say, the things that you do. You just have to, be that vibrational magnetism. You have to be that electromagnetic frequency, right? And don't let the pressure weigh you down, right? You meet your frequency at a vibrational level, and that's how it works. Yesterday I went to this place, which I hate going, but I love their facility. Like, I love what they have to offer. It's this little space out in the cliffside, and it's here in Uluwatu, and it has a dry sauna, a steam room, all these really cool amenities, and the people there are cool, but there's a frequency that it holds that just puts me in a very irritated mode. And I went in there feeling irritated because I knew that I was going to have to wait to be treated because they're just slow. And I had this whole narrative in my head, like, they just don't care. They just don't care. So of course that frequency met me. And no, they did not care. And I paid for a 2-hour session, and they woke me up an hour in saying that it was over. And I was just, it was all meeting me there. So you have to check yourself, check your vibe. This is what I tell my daughter Soleil, check your vibe, where you at? And now she uses it, against me. So, but anyways, if you can elevate above that fear level, or about that irritance, about that, aggression or whatever, and talk about what you want to create and what you want to spark, and inspire within yourself and others, then you will ultimately see a new version of reality that is not based on a specific outcome that you need to have happened, but it's based on an experience that you're looking for. We all want to have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the baseline. We're here to have a good time, have a good human experience, and be good humans and do good things, right? So if you start relating from a heart-centered perspective, then everything you say, in the way you say it, that's what's key, and the way you say it and the way you perceive the response, right, will have shifted to where you're listening, right, to where you're actually actively listening. Listening is a two-way street. You're so engaged with the frequency itself that you're not hoping for something specific, right? You're just in the flow. You're literally in the flow, right? And you're receptive, you're responsive, you're effective, right? And so again, this change, how can I put this where it's clear? This is going to change how we communicate, right? You're saying the words, the way that you're saying it, the words that you're using, the tone in your voice, and that is totally stepping into your power, because you're now totally aligned with that source which lives through your heart center. So you're speaking, essentially, people don't like this phrase, but you're speaking your truth. You're in alignment, essentially, right? So this is the time to stand up for the frequency that you're seeking, period. This is the moment. This is the moment, right? Because we only have this one moment, and the planets are encouraging this momentum, right? They're supporting, they have your back, right? We're vibrating the cosmos, so the cosmos can clear the way, right? One of the 5 Yoga Sutras. So again, without, I mean, this is the gotcha part, okay? This is the time to stand up for your frequency that you are seeking, without attacking, without fighting, and causing separation as a result. Okay, so that's where it's at. So I'm going to give you an example. So if the frequency you're seeking is peace, and you're not finding peace around you, it's not to stand up and fight. It is to be in the frequency of peace as you're going about making it happen, making your decisions. And of course, there's going to be external circumstances that are going to take place, and they take place all the time. You can't deny them, right? It's part of this, human experience in this environment that we live in, and your beliefs will fuel how you respond to them. And true empowerment is looking at your beliefs and your thoughts, period, right? So everything externally that is showing up in front of you is showing up in a way that allows you to either express the frequency. You're going to have two options here: to either express the frequency, which, is whatever you want to experience, which is, joy, peace, love, abundance, insert whatever is that you want to experience, whatever is it that you're looking for. Or option number two, there's only one: you either express it or you suppress it, period. And those are the two choices. You express or suppress, right? And of course, know that there is going to be judgment, because you have a past, and those thoughts reflect the past, right? And judgment of what's in front of you, whether it is a person or a situation, you engage with that person in that situation with that same judgment. They're going to meet you with that same judgment, period, right? You engage with it on the level of the judgment. That's the aha. So we're all, we've all been in a situation where we have no idea what we're doing, or what we're going to say next, or what to do next. And there's a moment where we just trust that the right words will come out, and, and they generally do. They always, quite often do. And they will if you're in that frequency. And just allow and trust, right? So focus on the vibration you want to create, period. This is what the stellium is about. You'll know the nature, you'll know the nature of the change when it shows up. It will bring you a quality that will go unnoticed, right? You'll know what to do and how to shift it. So stay heart-centered. Libra is, the sign is about others. It's about the other, right? When you look at the archetype of Libra, it is about the other. So, focus on everything you want the other to feel. And this is either in a romantic relationship. Hi, honey. You can drop them here. I'm doing a tea ceremony later. So we got pillows. And the tea tchotchke's all set up. Anyways, so focus on the other, and elevate the aspects of the other that gives them a frequency that allows them to step into their own self-empowered, self-trust, self-inner love, right? And focus on that. Don't focus on what they're lacking, right? Focus on what they already have, and then amplify that part in them that is great, that is good, that is better. Right? And that's truly what it's all about, right? And again, it's this whole, the new moon is on October 6th. The stellium at 16 degrees, all three planets, is happening on October 9th. This is the divine vision of love and balance that Libra represents, and the number 6 and 9 represent for the stellium. So divine love and balance, right? And of course, Libra, where the stellium is ruled by Venus, and Venus rules Taurus and Libra, right? Air and earth, and it governs abundance and love. So when we have an expression where the sun and Mars and Mercury, Mars is engaging with Libra, like it's engaging with Libra's sign, bringing that divine feminine and that sacred masculine together, right? And with this retrograde, it's all about how those two qualities are represented internally within us. So this is a time of balancing those two aspects out, at least for the month of October, at least for this short period, finding that moment of harmony. And, and it's all about this internal rebalancing, right? And Venus and Mars is undergoing, this transformational alchemy already. It's been for a while. So it's not, it is bringing it to the planet, but it's really bringing it on an individual level. So it's bringing it to each and every one of us and how we interpret. Because I know, sharing from my own experience, I can be very masculine, even though I'm very feminine, because you can see my archetype is Virgo. I'm a Virgo archetype, and you can see it. When someone's sign is in a particular way, you see it in their, organometry. You see it in their physical appearance. And I'm very Virgo, like point blank. However, I tend to be very much driven and guided by, the qualities of Mercury and the qualities of Mars in a very unbalanced way. And I notice that and I check it. And this is why I invite practices and rituals into my life that bring in that divine feminine quality, because I want to be balanced. I want to be in harmony, right? I want to be balanced. I want to be in harmony. I don't want to just be, driven by my egoic masculine impulse, right? I want to be moved through inspired action, which is what Mars represents, right? Inspired, passionate insights. So I'll leave you with that. There's a few people that did comment. I don't know if I can go all the way and see everybody's comments, just because I have to kind of ground and prepare to serve tea. But I will be sharing a workshop on the new moon on October 6th, which, again, I'm a couple hours ahead, so it'll just fall at a different time for some of you. But you can find the link in my bio. It's under Lunar Workshops. So, and it is with Life Kick. They're amazing. They've supported me during this whole time, and I'm just so grateful to be sharing still what I love in a very, again, divine flowic way. So again, thank you for tuning in, and all the love. Stay focused on the frequency you want to hold, and if you're ready to jump ship, but hold the frequency so that, you match it wherever you end up swimming to shore. All right. Satnam, all the blessings. Have a beautiful new moon. Have a beautiful stellium on the 9th. And I'll see you hopefully during my live workshop over the new moon with Life Kick. All right. All the love. Big hugs.